This is Hugger, my one defense pure. For a long time, there's been one goal I've deliberately put off on this account, an infernal cape. Until now. But to keep this honest, I'll be starting with nothing. No shortcuts. Every piece of gold has to be earned. This is the one defense inferno from scratch. Last episode, we started with nothing and through a mix of odd jobs and good luck, worked our way up to a toxic blowpipe. On this episode, we put it to work. Before we can even step in the inferno, there's one thing we need to do, and that's donating our fire cape. Fun fact you didn't ask for, this cape is actually over 10 years old. And now, it belongs to this guy. With that out of the way, it's time to reobtain what used to be the best in slot cape. Kicking things off with some melee waves, or if you're using a blowpipe in my case, the backstep simulator. Gonna use the South Rock as a safe spot here. This is the kind of stuff you just can't teach. God, there's nothing better in this game than when a chin clears an entire stack. On to the mage waves, just pray mage. Wave 38, or where boys start to become men. You can usually set up an off tick by just distancing yourself from the ranger off the spawn. When the ranger's head dips, pray mage. When the mage's tail flicks, pray range, and so on. Sometimes you'll find yourself in a weird spot between waves and have to face tank the ranger. In those cases, just kill whatever's hitting you first and then clean up the major. Don't worry about it too much, it only hits 14s. Listen, I'm telling you, it just doesn't get old. On the mage melee waves, you're basically just using the major as a shield. Wave 60, double ranger mage melee, basically the 2005 version of wave 63 in the inferno. But they didn't have a spawn predictor in 05, and we do, so we're chilling. And onto our friend Jad. Healers are taking their sweet time marching over here. Guys, please. If I die here, we're deleting the channel. Okay, we're chilling. We are chilling. And just like that, fire cape reobtained. In the last episode I said, what are we really building toward for the Inferno? And I intend to answer that question right after this message from our sponsor. I'm just kidding. Nobody is sponsoring this. That was a joke. That was a bad joke. I was killing Zulrah with an Iban staff last episode. Who do you think is... Okay, all right. On to what this series is about. There's one thing we should clear up first. This isn't a speedrun. If it were, the timeline would look something like this. We keep farming Zulrah, chip away at a budget setup, and just send the Inferno until we get the cape. Make money, buy gear, lose our sanity. Simple, right? And sure, it works, but it's not very fun for us, and it's not very interesting to watch. But that's not the path we're taking. This is the path we care about. It's skills, it's quests, it's PvM that probably wasn't designed with a one defense account in mind. Figuring things out, making mistakes, and fixing them along the way. And eventually, it's walking into the Inferno with a real chance of success. And the best range weapon money can buy, a twisted bow. Pretty funny how I just monologued about not killing Zulrah, and now we're immediately back at Zulrah. But did you really think we weren't going to try the blowpipe here? Come on. I bet you've never seen a one defense account with this exact setup pull a 3-kill trip. Sure, we'll take another Fang. On the advice of our PR team, I'm not actually allowed to say how many kills that was after the last drop. Episode 1 watchers already know. Check just hit the bank account, time to hit them all. Sadly, it's time to move on from our old friend, the Amulet of Glory. You served us well, my friend. We're also grabbing the new Huey Coddle hide chaps, which are the best in slot range pants for a pure, and doing a quick resupply while we're here. Had a little cash left over, so we're picking up an antler guard as well, another best in slot upgrade. If this were a main account, we'd be about 100 mil poorer right now. We're done shopping, but we've got one more errand to run. At the Royal Titans. We're hunting 2 drops here, the Deadeye Prayer Scroll and the Mystic Vigor Prayer Scroll. These prayers were added in early 2025 and are a middle ground between the Legacy 15% boost prayers and the Chambers of Xeric prayers, and they don't require any defense levels. So how do we actually get them? Royal Titans use a contribution-based drop table. The more damage you deal, the better your odds. At 100% contribution, a scroll is a 1 in 75 drop. Split the damage evenly at 50%, and that becomes 1 in 150. Contribute as little as 1%, and your odds fall all the way down to 1 in 7,500. If you can duo slightly more than twice as fast as you can solo, and you're contributing even damage, duo makes more sense. The thing is, I've only ever done this boss on a max main, so I genuinely have no idea what solo or duo times look like on this account. Instead of guessing, I'm just going to run both and see which one makes sense. I've got a friend hopping on a bit to do some duo kills, but I want to send one solo first just to get a feel for it. That felt pretty slow. Could be a skill issue, but I'm gonna blame the gear. We are now joined by my friend Balto. He's a 1 defense Iron Man, so we should be getting a very fair share of contribution here, because his gear is almost as bad as mine is. Battle staves and orbs, we take those. Kill number 5. And we're right back to the cardio simulator. It's 10 kill count and a combat achievement coming in. Oh, we got the amulet for the teleports. That will make our life way easier. 25 KC down. Still clearly don't know how to melee there. Gonna give it another shot here. Look at us. I think you basically want to click right as the staff starts to move downward. I'm staying, I don't care. We're ending the session with another combat achievement and 39 KC. We'll be back later to finish off the prayers, but there's a bigger issue we need to address. Right now, we don't have access to any of the high-end moneymakers that really move us closer to a Twisted Bow. At this stage, Desert Treasure 2 and its prerequisites offer the widest range of unlocks, but if we want to start it, we're way behind where we need to be, both in quests and in skills. DT2 alone has something like 50 plus quest requirements, and right now we are not even close with our 95 quest points. Is Desert Treasure 2 strictly required for the Inferno Cape? No, not technically, but with our setup, bosses like the Whisperer and the Leviathan are 3 to 4 times the GP per hour of Zulrah. At the current price of a Twisted Bow, grinding Zulrah alone would take over 750 hours, and while this isn't a speedrun, we definitely don't have time for that. Unlocking these bosses cuts that time down dramatically. And if we want to get a Twisted Bow anytime in this decade, that matters. Selfishly, we're going to go do thieving first. 1, because we'll get about 1 million GP between 53 and 70, and 2, because I need to edit this first episode and it's AFK friendly. But before we do any of that, we're going to go grab the Rogue's outfit to maximize the amount of GP we'll get during the process. And that is the Rogue's top pants. I refuse to call them trousers. Mask. And another mask just in case we needed backup. I'm an idiot. Boots. And that should complete the set. If you want 50k thieving XP an hour while clicking once every 90 seconds, wealthy citizens with chat notifications are your friend. 54 thieving. 55 thieving. Time to chip away at a few more quests, starting with the Temple of the Eye. Quest complete, and 48 rune crafting. Forgot a weapon, so we're killing an ogre with a pickaxe. Watchtower complete. Time for the best cutscene in the entire game, which was literally inspired by the workout montage in Rocky. And that's Below Ice Mountain done. We're getting kudos real quick as we'll be knocking out Bon Voyage next. Not required for DT2, but it unlocks birdhouses, which are great for passive hunter experience, which we'll need later on. 18 hunter, 19 hunter, and 20 hunter. Plus a big congrats from our friend here. Spending a quick 100k to buy a mage skill cape so we can spellbook swap freely without having to travel across the entire map. Heading back to Royal Titans to test some doloing. I'll be actively playing on my main in the Void setup while I blowpipe on Hugger as it's relatively AFK. I'm mostly curious about contribution, kill speed, and whether this is actually viable, or if we should be soloing or potentially duoing with a more common setup. It's obviously much more convenient as well if I don't have to find a partner. Starting things off really hot here, as you can see. It seems like we're getting like maybe 400 damage, which is like 25% contribution, and we're definitely not doing kills 4 times as fast as we would solo, which makes me feel inclined to say that maybe this isn't the most worthwhile activity. Heading back to Zulrah. Is this the same clip from earlier? No. Did we get the exact same drop on the exact same tile? Yes, we did. Am I the most hated player on our Ironscape? It's a title I carry with pride. With another 4 million GP in our pocket, we can finally replace our climbing boots. Arania boots are the best in slot for a pure, matching dragon boots for strength while giving mage and range bonuses, with no requirements at all. $60 thieving, 65 thieving, and 70 thieving, and 700k cash. We're going to quickly sell off the loot tab from our first 50 or so titans, along with some of the miscellaneous Zulrah loot we obtained before that last fang. I want to send some more solo titans, and for that we're going to want a berserker ring to speed things up, since most of the kills will be done with melee. Between the Arania boots and the berserker ring, we pick up another 2 max hits, which is a pretty massive increase. That of course is only the case if we imbue it, which we're going to go do now. Before heading back, we're going to keep chipping away at some skilling, moving on to fire making. We only need 75 fire making for DT2, but we won't be stopping there. It's time to tee up maybe the most useless side grind in the entire series, the Zealot's robes. More specifically, the Zealot's top. It has almost no practical use, but it is the best in slot prayer top you can get on a pure, so unfortunately, we're getting it. To obtain the set, you have to burn either fire or Urium remains. Burning fire remains requires 85 fire making, while Urium remains require 95. And here's the problem. Keys are significantly rare from fire remains, and you gain prayer experience throughout the grind. If we go on rate using fire remains, we'd end up with roughly 330,000 prayer XP, pushing us from 52 prayer all the way to 65. Urium remains, on the other hand, average closer to 80,000 prayer XP to complete the set, which keeps us comfortably where we want to be. So yes, we're training fire making past what we need for DT2, just to make sure we don't train prayer too much. We are heading to where every Iron Man series begins, Wintertod. But first we need to grab some sick drip so we don't freeze in the cold. You're not that guy, pal. 51 fire making and a couple freebie combat achievements. 55 fire making. 60 fire making. And finally, the big 7-0. I see your 100 reward crates, and I raise you 101. Get a torch. Some gloves. And yeah, that's about it. 25 hunter. Big shout out to my birdhouse enthusiasts. 26 hunter. 75 fire making, which is the requirement for DT2. Forgot to record us getting 80 fire making, but gonna hit some more rewards. Another torch. More gloves, another torch. Nothing. Okay, we take a pyro top. And closing out fire making for this episode with 85. 29 hunter, 30 hunter, 31 hunter. Yeah, we know how to count to 31 around here. Now it's time for the least fun skill on a pure, Slayer. Or as I like to call it, combat training, but without any of the typical boosts that you get during Slayer. We managed to get ourselves a Scorpion task, so we're going to send it at Scorpia. The money here is not terrible, and the experience is about as good as it gets with early Slayer. Finishing the task off with 35 Slayer and a few more combat achievements along the way. We are officially done procrastinating, and we're heading back to Titans to finish off these prayers. This time we're going to try to solo it the proper way, with normal magic to kill the elementals and to avoid getting trapped between the fire and ice attacks. Except I don't have the mage bonus to one-hit these things. That kill was so slow. Yo, that's Deadeye, let's go. Despite getting rewarded, that kill was absolutely awful. So we're reworking the approach a bit. We're switching over to Thralls for some extra DPS. We're just gonna face tank the elementals. They only max a 10, so it shouldn't be a big deal, and very rarely do they actually hit on the same tick. And without the mage switch, we get much more food and hopefully much faster kills. That is 49 KC, and welcome to Combat Achievement City. Okay, DDS, pop off. 50 KC. KC number 60. Literally the one thing I was warned about was not misclicking the wrong giant after I got my first prayer scroll. I should probably get some coffee. That was a 3-minute and 13-second kill. That was actually pretty fast. We still don't know how to flinch with melee after almost 80 KC. I guess we're done with Titans at 79 KC. We are not complaining. Just a few more things to wrap up, and the new prayers will finally be ours. In the next episode, we begin preparing for our most difficult challenge yet.